Hello, welcome back to another segment in excerpts from a Spiritual Ascension. So, as I've said many times, you're having two lives within one lifetime. And there's now that I'm kind of on the other side of my journey, there's a lot of understanding coming in from the way I previously understood things or previously saw things, and now how I'm seeing things on this side in this new life. So I'm sure you're familiar with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you aren't familiar with it, I think most of us are. Please go and check Google and just check it out. And he kind of states that what needs we need to come to our self-actualization. Okay. So I always see my first life, okay, as being one of coming into the world, right? You have your parents, your siblings, your environment, your schooling, your friends, so forth and so on, who kind of shape who you are. And I know for myself, that was a big part of my needing to really um, understand that who I was what my environment and my family and people around me shaped me out to be. But that wasn't the true essence of who I am now. So the thing is, just going over Maslow, this is what it looks like. I just wanted you guys to, I'm sure you're familiar with it if you just Google it. So it's kind of funny too that looking at this for the first time in a while of is kind of has the same colors as the chakras. So the your root chakra is red, and then it goes to your sacral chakra and upwards all the way to your crown chakra, which is purple. And that kind of has that almost that same coloring. Um, at the heart usually is green. Um, and that comes in this too. So it's really interesting that the chakra colors kind of go in line with Maslow's chart here. So for our basic needs, like as a baby, as a child, we look to our parents for, just food, water, sheltering, clothing, even sleep. We don't even think about that, right? Then it goes up to our safety and security, having our employment, our job, our family, our social life. And then there's the sense of needing of love and belonging, friendship, family, intimacy, a sense of connection. And then the fourth tier up is our self-esteem. And as I said before, a big part of your journey is you obtaining once again your self-worth. And I think in your first life, if you're just transitioning, going through your journey, about to start your journey, a big part, if you look back, is people have always attacked you in some way, right? Because you trigger people because of your light. And people have stomped on you. And this is lifetimes going back. This didn't start just in this lifetime of people treating you miserably, right? So your self-worth, your self-esteem has been stomped on, just torn to pieces. And a part of your journey, your ascension journey, is to see what your self-worth is. That's why you spend so much time in isolation by yourself, being alone with the divine, so that the divine can show you, who you are truly. And then at the top of the pyramid, right? It's interesting that it's a pyramid too, is our self-actualization, which talks about our morality, our creativity, our spontaneity, our acceptance, experience, purpose, and a meaning and inner potential. So all this to say that in your first life, all that has been kind of created for you, shaped who you were to become, right? And as you look back, you kind of say, that wasn't even who I am now, like all that is um, traces of who others made me perceive me to be. So on your journey, all of these layers here in Maslow's chart are stripped away completely. I know for myself they were. Your journey possibly will be different. But even like I say, my basic needs as far as food, shelter, water, clothing, right? If you've been following along with my journey, I went from having so many clothes and shoes and handbags and coats and everything else as I worked on Wall Street. And it was easy for me to just obtain having the salary that I did then. All of that was taken away from me. And during my journey at a particular period, all I had was the clothes on my back. I had a t-shirt, a pair of leggings, a sweatshirt, and a rain jacket. That was it. Everything else was gone. So now, starting at that very beginning of survival, like this is survival. Like if I don't have those basic needs, food, I didn't have food. I was fasting for a while, going through a couple of days of the initial part of my journey, eating a donut a day, So always having abundance previously, being able to buy anything, any food, any clothing I wanted, all of that was stripped away. I had no shelter. And then also the thing comes into play as far as the next thing is the safety and security. Being a woman, a middle-aged woman, not having a safe security of a home, of somewhere to go back to, all that was gone. And then love, my whole family rejected me in some way. And understand that's what was supposed to happen at that time because I needed to move on. I needed to leave those karmic relationships behind. And as hard as that may sound, again, you're having two lives within one lifetime. So, and then your self-esteem, right? It's totally ripped away because you've lost everything else. Noticing now on the other side is I get to choose how I want each of these things to come into my life. Where my shelter is, my clothing is very now minimal as far as my lifestyle, my wardrobe. Um, my basic needs are met through the divine, right? But I'm given everything that I need at the right time. There's no more striving, right? On this other side, too. And then there's also a lesson of with love and belonging that you're introduced into a whole new soul family. So your family, your blood family, for me anyway, this may not be your experience, but for me, my whole blood family is no longer a part of my life. So, but to look back, like really thinking about this yesterday is each one of them in some way, like kind of stabbed me in the back, and as much as that hurts, like I understand that those relationships had to end in order for me. I chose to go on this journey, before I came into this life. You've chosen to be here on this journey. So, as hard as it is to give up family, that may be a part of your journey. Okay. But now I get to choose who my connections are, who it is that I want to love, who I want to share my life with. It's not put upon me because they're family. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us say, as bad as family may treat us in some ways, and you're like, okay, we have to be there for them because they're our blood family. And something comes into play as far as, what was I going to say? Just totally went out of my head. I'm sorry. It's there, and then as soon as I want to talk about it, it's gone. Um, Maybe it'll come back to me. Oh, Zach Spirit, please bring it back to me. Um, Understanding that love, I get to choose now who comes into my life. And there's a whole thing with your energy, being able to feel out people, your energy changes as far as if someone approaches you in a good way or not a good way, you can feel their energy in a way. I want that word is on the top of my um, unconditional love. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. Um, Realizing that most of the people, like I was thinking about all the people in my life, and except for my father, who guides me on my journey, and as I've talked about before, had given me all these instructions on, he's in spirit, but he had given me all these instructions through a medium of what to do. And it was only really him that in no way like didn't do something awful to me of my whole family. And that's really hard to accept. But when I look back, I'm like, why would I stay in these conditions where these people are only offering me um, a piece of their love? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we get to now this point after our journey of having that safety, having that our needs met, being able to choose who we love, um, developing our self-esteem and self-worth, and now coming to our self-actualization of knowing who we truly are and choosing who we want to be, not having anyone else choose it for us. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Thank you so much again for being here. I really appreciate it. If you would like a reading, if you would like to talk to me about your own journey, there is a link below to book time with me. I've done several courses on the Ascension journey, and that link is also below. And I'll see you next time.